Hello, my name is Polymono, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite anime. Nobody has to agree with me on this list because I'm sure some of the animes that are on this list a lot of people are gonna get shook nasty about, but these 5 anime are the 5 anime that actually got me really into anime and made me want to continue and want to dive deeper and get more into anime. So, without without any further ado, let's get started. At number 5, I'm putting the show Barakamon. Barakamon is an anime that I believe is extremely underhyped. I definitely think that it needs to be talked about a lot more in the anime community. I've been a fan of anime for like 8 years now. I've watched hundreds of anime, watched many reviews, different people talking about anime, and I've only heard about 2 people mention this anime. But I think the show needs a lot more attention because it is such a amazingly funny and wholesome series. The entire series focuses on a calligrapher who cannot take criticism very well. So a I believe a world famous calligrapher says that his work is sloppy and compares it to that of children's schoolwork. He proceeds to punch this man in the face. I knew this man is old, quite old. So they send him to an island as a way to hopefully help him calm down and learn to actually enjoy what he does, rather than just stress out about it. While on this island, he runs into a young girl named Naruko Toishi, and she almost immediately takes a liking to him. Where it's just like a nice, cute, wholesome father-daughter anime that I would recommend to anybody. Anyone who wants to get into anime and doesn't know where to start, I highly recommend Barakamon. Moving on to number 4, I'm putting Attack on Titan. Now, before all you other weebs that are more cultured than me come and bite my heads off saying that it's a bad show, Attack on Titan was the show to introduce me to anime. I actually found out about it when I went to a camp in Dixon, Tennessee, where like 90% of the kids at this camp were talking about a show called Attack on Titan. I had no idea what it was, very confused. I made the mistake of looking up stuff online, specifically DeviantArt stuff. So I thought the show was going to be quite different, but I bit the bullet and decided to watch it. I actually got both my parents to watch it with me, which they found quite boring. But for me, it just sparked something grand in my mind where I was just like, like, this show is really interesting. Like, it was literally the first time, like, I literally watched it for the first time thinking, this is a animated TV show that is quite violent and is a little intense. And it was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that in a cartoon or in any kind of animation work ever. And so I just kept looking because I was like, I need to see if there's anything more than that. And I eventually found the entire world of anime. Now, I love Attack on Titan. I love the characters. I think all the characters are built well, and I think the story is done well. I really like the fact that it starts off as kind of a action horror series and then starts getting into more of a mystery kind of show with still having the action horror elements, with them at first just deciding we need to try and kill all these titans, to it turning into we need to try and figure out where this key leads to, how the main character could turn into a titan as well as other people, and who built the walls. It just becomes a whole thing where like every answer they find just asks another question. One critique I do have to say, in season 3 Eren became kind of a whiny baby, and I wasn't too fond of that. Frankly, it was really annoying. Did not like it. Other than that, I really appreciated the show, and I thought it was a really well executed series, and I'm deeply excited because I have been waiting for the last issue of the manga to come out. Apparently it's supposed to come out in the next couple months. I'm not exactly sure when, but I am so excited to finally wrap the story up. Long story short, I think it is a well-written show with really good characters, and it was also the first series to get me into anime, so I think it definitely deserves a spot in this list. Going on to number 3, another one that I feel like is gonna not go over too well because I feel like everyone on the internet hates this show, Fairy Tail. The reason being, this was the show that got my sister into anime. I had already been watching anime for like 6 months at that time, and I was super into it, really loved it, and I wanted to try and get my entire family into it. I just couldn't find one that would stick. Just could not find one. And then I found a show that looked really interesting on Hulu. It's called Fairy Tail. Decided to turn it on to the main TV, which was a mistake. I went into the show completely blind. Didn't know there was that much fan service in it. Nevertheless, my sister and myself fell in love with that world and the characters. It was just a very happy and cool and exciting world. Not to mention, at the time, a lot of my family was getting really into Harry Potter. I had already been into it, so I was kind of over it at that point. But when they were getting into magic and all that stuff, I really enjoyed how Fairy Tail took that approach, because growing up, the three magic people that I grew up with were the characters in Harry Potter, Gandalf, and Cosmo and Wanda. So when it came to magic, it was just kind of waving a wand around our staff and something happening. This is the first time I had actually seen a show where they used magic in a way that was not with wands and was in fact within them. Not to mention, controversial opinion, Natsu Dragneel is one of the best protagonists to exist. I know a lot of people don't like that. I don't even necessarily know why I think that. Every time I watch Fairy Tail or read a Fairy Tail manga, I just always am captivated by Natsu. I think he's a funny character. I think he has a dope power. And not to mention his relationship with Lucy is adorable. So, and on top of everything else, Urza Scarlet is in that show. Therefore, I'm not about to talk bad about it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I recommend looking up some pictures of Urza Scarlet. Not dirty ones. Just, you know what? Actually don't. I don't want to be responsible for what you find. Anyway, moving on. I don't remember what my second one was. Demon Slayer. That's right. Okay. Moving on to number 2, Demon Slayer. Now, Demon Slayer was one that I was late on. This is actually the only entry on this list that wasn't a show to get me into anime. I'd already been well into anime at this point, and I actually didn't watch Demon Slayer at first. My whole family watched it before me. Yes, by the way, I successfully made almost everyone in my family a weeb, whether they want to admit to it or not. I was the first, and I don't ever stop talking about anime, and I've spread it like a virus through my whole family. Almost everyone I know is a fan of it. Even my grandmother watches anime. Everyone in my family is a weeb now, because I just wouldn't stop talking about it. Moving on, they had already watched Demon Slayer, and for some reason, it didn't appeal to me when I first looked into it. I just didn't care. It just didn't look that interesting. After everyone telling me how good it was and just how amazing of a story it was, I decided to give it a shot. And boy, do I regret not watching it when I was told to originally. It is such an amazing, well-written story. The character designs are beautiful. The stylization of the show is beautiful. Their personalities are amazing. It's a well-written, beautiful show. And I deeply regret not watching it sooner. On top of this, I want to say this. I love the fact that Tanjiro isn't just guns-ho and killing everything in sight without any remorse. I love the fact that whenever he kills a demon, he actually feels remorse for that demon. He doesn't just look at them like a mindless monster. He looks at them as if they're still human and has remorse for those who die in hopes that they live, that they go on to a better life. All in all, I think Demon Slayer is a beautiful show, and if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you do. It is literally one of the best anime that's ever been produced, in my opinion. Anyway, moving on to number 1. It's My Hero Academia. I bet you couldn't guess. Now, again, there's gonna be quite a lot of people who probably are gonna gut me for putting this at number 1. I'm gonna be blunt. 90% of the My Hero fans suck and are not fun people. I literally don't know of a single person, other than the people that are in my family, that look at My Hero and don't complain. Every single person I've ever seen on TikTok, Instagram, anything, doesn't matter what, they're always complaining about it. There's always something that they don't like about it. Whether it be you ship one character with another and that ship's not falling through, so as a result, you get pissed off and so you burn your manga. Or the main character cries too much and that annoys you. I'm gonna be real, there are flaws with the show. Heck, I even made a TikTok addressing one of them. One that actually genuinely bugs me And I've never understood why they've never addressed it. If you want to see that, my TikTok is linked in the description. Now, listen, I fully agree and think this show has its flaws, plenty of them. But also, I think Koei Horikoshi has done a great job telling a story and making us interested in these characters. Like, yes, Bakugo told his childhood friend turned rival to jump off the school's roof because he thought he was worthless. But without getting into any spoilers, Bakugo has mended that bond. Bakugo is doing everything in his power to try and fix that problem. It's something that he's not proud of doing. It was a moment of weakness for him. And again, I'm not saying that's an okay thing to do, but I'm still saying he's doing his best to try and fix it. And here's the thing, the guy who he told, the main character, Deku, forgives him because he knows that's not who he is. As for the whole shipping thing, I think that entire whole concept is stupid. Ship who you want to ship, but if you don't agree with it, don't go and yell at other people and tell them that what they're saying is incorrect. If you ship people that are not canon, that's totally fine, but don't treat it like it is and shove it in people's faces. And for those of you who ship people who are canon, same thing. Don't go and rub it in people's faces who don't agree with it. It's a stupid thing to do. It's an opinion. You make your own choice. If you want Bakugo to end up with Tsuyu Asui, go for it. Think that. If you want freaking Izuku Midoriya to end up with Ochako Uraraka, go ahead and think that. But don't take those two ships and freaking try to kill each other over it. That's just a dumb thing to argue about. We have no control over what happens in the story. We have no say. The creator of the story has already planned out the entire thing. He's writing it the way he wants it to be written. And if you don't like it, if you genuinely cannot wrap your head around that concept and you are not okay with that, then separate from the series and don't watch it. But don't ruin it for other people. This entire thing went off into a tangent that I did not mean it to go into. Anyway, reasons I like it. I think every character is written so well. I don't think there's any character that is underdeveloped. I think every character is developed to the level they need to be at the moment. Granted, there are some flaws. There are some characters that I wish had a little bit more screen time and had some more, like, for instance, Ojiro, Shinso, and Higakure. Those are three characters that I genuinely wish had more screen time. I know later on in the season, we get moments with those characters. I still would deeply appreciate it if we got to see them a lot more frequently, because I think they're, all in all, really interesting and cool characters, and I'd love to see more about them. Not to mention, for those of you who are caught up with the manga, this story has taken a major hard right turn. It is not at all the same show that it used to be. My father is currently watching My Hero from season 1. He's never watched it before. He's starting it, and me watching it with him, it blows my mind to see how far the show has come, because it is vastly different. Like, the characters are still there, but they've developed so much. It's become such an interesting thing. Now, I'm gonna get into a detail or a specific thing about My Hero that a lot of people are gonna be upset with. Todoroki is an extremely boring character, and I'm not a fan. Now, before you all come and slit my throats and beat me to death for having the audacity to say something like that, let me explain. I'm not a fan of characters in anime that are overly powered to the point where it's like you know they're gonna win the fight. There's been one fight in the show where I was genuinely like, I don't know how this outcome's gonna be. And also, it's my favorite moment with Todoroki because it's a fight that you didn't know who was going to win. You couldn't know the outcome because it really seemed like it could go either way. Every other fight he's been in, he barely gets injured. It's a one-sided fight for him. Like, there's no stakes. You don't think, I wonder what's gonna happen to Shoto Todoroki. You know he's gonna be fine in the end. And this too, I want to bring this up. The fact that when he was fighting Deku, he made it clear to everybody in his class he's not gonna use his fire. He refuses to because it's his father's power. Deku says 5 words to this guy, and he immediately decides to forget about all his trauma and just use his fire and wins the fight that way. And then in the next fight, he's going to use his fire, he makes eye contact with his father and then decides to just not use it anymore. Just in my opinion, I feel like Todoroki tends to be very wishy-washy and switches between his state of like how he feels about his father. I know in a general sense he's not fond of him, but there are quite a few times in the story where he would make it clear to everybody, and including to his own father, to his face, that he does not like him, but then one person would say one sentence to him and that would be enough to completely change his mind and have him decide to use his fire. It was just a thing that to me bugged me. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's something that has always bugged me. Me talking about my hero literally went into a direction that I did not think it was going to. Is this video even going to be interesting to watch? Probably not, but I'm still going to post it. Anyway, those were my top 5 favorite anime. Like I said before, this entire video is my own opinion. You can dislike whatever show you like, you can like whatever show you like. I'm not claiming this is the best 5 anime to exist on the planet. I'm claiming that these are the 5 best anime that I have seen, and the ones that I have a personal connection with, because they are the shows that really got me hooked into the genre of anime and got me made me love it as much as I do to this day. As for all the things that I said that may have offended you, it's just my opinion. Calm down, don't get offended. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy, it wouldn't hurt for you to like and subscribe, but you don't have to. Anyway, catch you in the next one.